Howdy everyone, it's Sam. I hope you're doing really well. If you're new around here, hope I can get you to consider liking the content and subscribing to the channel. And if you are a regular around these here parts, thank you very much for the continuous support. The North Queensland Cowboys took on a reserve grade Penrith Panthers outfit, and everybody throughout the week was asking the Cowboys to win convincingly. It would improve their opinion of them in the lead up to the finals next week. That's exactly what North Queensland Cowboys did, winning 38 points to 6 against the Penrith Panthers. Cowboys haven't scored a single solitary point against the Panthers in over 2.5 years. And boy, howdy, did the damn wall burst today against Penrith. However, that's not to say that the young Panthers should in any way have their heads down about that performance. That young Penrith Panthers outfit, boy howdy, they made it tricky for the North Queenslanders, but great patience shown by the Cowboys. A really direct game plan in the first 50 odd minutes, and then they really started to play some razzle dazzle. I'm really impressed with what I saw. It's exactly the kind of scoreline. It's exactly the sort of performance that the lads needed, especially after last weekend's rather disappointing effort against the South Sydney Rabbitohs. Before I continue, I just want to go into the chat and say hello to everyone. Jacob Ruda, thank you very much for popping in, man. CJ Moxley, hey, bro. How you going? Might see you again next week for sure. Cody Games PlayStation, thank you very much for the brand new support from you, man. Thank you. It's Bosky, bro. How you going, man? Congratulations, me, man. Congratulations to the Cowboys. Who would have thought that we could have said that, or that any Cowboys fan could have said, we beat Panthers in the regular season. I get that they're a reserve grade side tonight, but it's a massive, it's a pretty good win, man, for some momentum. So let's get stuck into it, dude. So the Cowboys kicked off first, and it was pretty clean, good footy for the first 5 or so minutes there. But then the Cowboys gave away the first penalty of the game. Panthers couldn't do anything with that extra set, and they unfortunately, not only did they drop the first ball of the contest, but they also gave away their first penalty of the evening in the backup set in defense, thus leading to the first try of the game. Murray Taulagi putting the Cowboys up 4-0 after only 8 minutes of play. And it was a ball to Nanai who got tackled about 15 meters out from the goal line. And then it was a nice sweeping play that went from out of Nanai's edge all the way out to Murray Taulagi. And there was a really nice decoy run ran by Luciano Leilua. And so that was the first points of the contest. Then in the 10th minute, Jermaine Hopgood had to go off for a HIA, but he eventually passed that. And then in the 15th minute, there was a Kyle Felt no try where his knee just touched the grass before the ball did. Tremendous effort from Kyle Felt. That would have been in his top 15, top 20 tries if he had scored that. But alas, it wasn't meant to be. And then in the 19th minute, there was a captain's challenge that was won by the North Queensland side, where I think it was Leilua that was trying to get the ball back via an offload. But the referee, he didn't see Kurt Fall's hand punching it out. In my opinion, that's what happened. But in any event, it was a successful captain's challenge for Luciano Leilua. And then in the 22nd minute, Valentine Holmes scored his first of 3 tries this evening, the first time he scored a hat trick for the North Queensland Cowboys. Didn't put in a grubber, and it was deflected off of Kurt Falls. And so it sort of spun around in the air, and it came hurtling towards Robert Jennings, and he couldn't get a hold of it. And then it just ricocheted into the lap of Valentine Holmes, and then he scored his first try of the evening in the 22nd minute. 5 minutes later, in the 27th minute, from about 10, 15 meters short of halfway, Reece Robson spots a gap, gets Drinkwater to back him up. Robson makes approximately 20 meters, crosses halfway, passes back on the inside to Scott Drinkwater, and Scott Drinkwater runs approximately 40 meters to score a 70, 60 meter length try, thus putting the Cowboys up 16 points to nil. 5 minutes later, in the 32nd minute, Valentine Holmes scores his second try of the evening. And that was just pure power from Valentine Holmes. It was 10 meters out. It was a ball from Scott Drinkwater, and Valentine Holmes had to wrestle his way out of defenders and pump those legs. Great hip strength as well, and he just slammed that ball down, man. And it was a really powerful, really good try from Valentine Holmes. Then in this the 36th minute, Jeremiah Nanai I really wanted to point this out because Jeremiah Nanai made an error in general play, and he made up for it in defense. And I just want to say, it shows so much how much he has improved since round 6, for example, where he was making 3 penalties and 2 errors and something like that over the course of about a month. But he's really cleaned up his game, and just State of Origin did him wonders as well. So that going into halftime was 20 points to 0 to the North Queensland Cowboys. Cowboys only made 2 or 3 errors in that entire half, 2 of those coming in the final 5 minutes. And just some of the execution from the Cowboys in attack, it wasn't coming off. And their attack over the past month or so, they've been lacking that polish when they're in attacking zones or an attacking mindset. And it was good for about 35 minutes, and then just fatigue and a lack of concentration entered into the Cowboys' mind frame. But 20-0 against the Penrith Panthers, albeit the New South Wales Cup side, you take it every freaking day. And just before I go on, just want to go back into the chat again. Cody Games, at least the Panthers lost. That's all that matters. Good luck against the Sharks next week. Thank you, man. And Entertain House is in. Hey, man. Hey, Entertain House. What games are you coming to Sydney next weekend? Well, bro, I'm a member. As soon as I get my email from the Cowboys, let me know what my password is and when tickets are on sale. I'll let everyone know. Because I was up at the Allianz Stadium last night, drove back home. You can probably tell that I'm really, really tired. I'll be up there in Sydney next week, man, for sure. And just want to say hello to Mr. William Pearson, who's just dropped in. Hey, man, thank you very much for coming in and dropping by and saying g'day, dude. But Entertain House, to answer your question, bro, I'll be in Sydney next week if the Cowboys are playing in Sydney next weekend. Fingers crossed for Newcastle Knights to get up tomorrow, let me tell you. All right, so starting off with the second half. Unfortunately, after about 4 or so minutes, Cowboys made the first error of that second half. And it was just simply because they were playing some footy, trying to, smoothen up their attack, sharpen up their attack, I should say, and just to drop ball. But, you dust yourself off. But unfortunately, in the 45th minute, Robert Jennings for Penrith scored their first try of the contest. And I started scratching my head. Valentine Holmes had to come in and make a tackle on a gentleman from Penrith that I can't remember. But Valentine Holmes was out of position. So too was Luciano Leilua. So Leilua then had to defend in the center position for a couple of tackles. But unfortunately, just a good pass and a really good line from Robert Jennings had him crash over to score Penrith's first try, thus making it 20 points to 4. The conversion was unsuccessful. Then in the 54th minute, the Cowboys, the Queensland Country Bank Stadium absolutely exploded in the 59th minute. Valentine Holmes caught a ball in the in-goal area on the full. He knew exactly what he wanted to do. He knew what to do. He sprinted towards that dash in the middle of the paddock on the 20-meter line, and he made himself about 30-odd meters. And then about the halfway mark, Kyle Felt backed up, received a pass from Valentine Holmes. They crisscrossed, and then Kyle Felt had to pass again, but this was then back onto the outside. Valentine Holmes then stepped up Scott Sorensen, and then because Valentine Holmes' effort in the in-goal area, the Cowboys go coast to coast, thanks to Valentine Holmes, and that was his third try, thus having him have the hat trick this evening. And what was also good about that is Scott Drinkwater was backing up. He was right there in the frame, man. So they were all pushing up, all supporting each other, and that Valentine Holmes try, man, was absolutely unreal. Then from the 57th minute, Valentine Holmes actually was swapped out for Hamiso Tabuai-Fidow. And I thought that was the correct call. Somebody had to get rested as well. There is somebody else that did get rested tonight, very cheekily so, but we'll get into that in a second. The 59th minute, Chad Townsend put in a fourth tackle kick, and it earned them a repeat set of 6. And then from that goal line dropout then went out on the full. Unfortunately, what happened next was young debutant for Panthers, Thomas Jenkins, was sin binned for a professional foul on Jeremiah Nanai. Should it have been a penalty try? The Fox League commentary was saying no, they don't think so. I don't know, man. It's a 50-50, and yes, the Cowboys have had some 50-50 calls this year. Probably only one, a big one, but anyway. It could have been a penalty try, and if it was finals, I think I'd naturally be disappointed if the Cowboys didn't get that penalty try call, because it certainly affected Jeremiah Nanai's reach towards the ball. There was only a finger in it, and if Thomas Jenkins didn't wrap up his ankle, well, not wrap up his ankle, but I think Thomas Jenkins actually did enough to stop Jeremiah Nanai's momentum, and I think there is a world where a penalty try would have been given, but alas, it wasn't meant to be, and they couldn't convert. So Tom Dearden put down the ball about a minute or so later, and then about 3 minutes later, in the 63rd minute, Penrith Panthers scored a try with one man out in the sin bin, and that was it was bad defensive reads or communication by Peter Hiku and Kyle Feldt, and Taruba showed his speed and skill in scoring Penrith Panthers' second try of the evening, thus making it 26 points to 8. But only 3 minutes later, Tom Dearden from 30 meters out put in a grubber kick, and Charlie Staines, who was playing at fullback for Penrith, copped the worst bounce he's probably ever copped in his friggin' career, well, to date anyway. Just bounced completely away from him, and Hamiso Tabuai-Fidow was steaming onto the ball, and Hammer just simply touched the ball, and it was in the try zone area, and that was a try for Hamiso Tabuai-Fidow. Could have been Valentine Holmes if he didn't get substituted, and we could be talking about Valentine with 4 tries. But in any event, it then became 32 points to 8, and Chad Townsend was on goal kicking duties as well. And then in the 68th minute, Chad Townsend, man, from about the 65th minute, or 63rd, I should say, Chad Townsend came to life in that final 15 minutes, man. Not that he was having a bad game before, but he just went, right, I'm going to level up here. Because I think I need to be corrected on this. I don't have the info in front of me, but I think Chad Townsend kicked his first 40-20 kick of season 2022 in the final game of the regular season, off the back of points. And then a minute later, in the 69th minute, McLean made half a break, and I forget who passed him the ball, but McLean made a break from about 15 meters out, passed the ball back on the inside, and Griffin Neame was supporting, and Griffin Neame looked like he could have touched it, but he didn't, and the bounce, instead of dropping for Griffin Neame, it dropped in for Reece Robson, who scored his try for this evening, and it was 38-8, and that's pretty much all she wrote. The Cowboys had another 2-3 more opportunities to score a try through Murray Taulagi and Scott Drinkwater / Kyle Feldt, but unfortunately they bombed it. So what I would say is that it wasn't a perfect performance. I would say that 5 minutes before halftime and about 10 to 15 minutes after halftime, there was just a drop in intensity. There was a drop in concentration. Now, I believe, and I would like to think, that come next weekend when the finals spotlight is shining brightly, that concentration level is going to be up. They're going to be absolutely crystal clear throughout the entire 80 minutes. And I bring it up because over the past month or so, 6 weeks, that their concentration levels can fade in and out of games. But that first 35 minutes from the North Queensland Cowboys was one of the best performances of their entire year. I know it's against the New South Wales Cup side of the Penrith Panthers, but to complete something like 23 out of 25 sets of 6 in a first half and keep a really good team in their own right to nil and score 20 points of your own against a side that have had the wood on you for a little while. That's one of the best performances that they've put in a first half all season long. I would probably say that their best first half performance was against the Parramatta Eels way back in round 8 when they played them up in Darwin, specifically more on their defense. I think the scoreline is 38 to 8. They won by 30 points. And the Penrith Panthers, the young Penrith Panthers, can be proud of the efforts that they put in. There's a lot to like about that loss for the Penrith Panthers this evening, but I've seen enough, and I'm super confident in the boys that they will get a victory week 1 or week 2. I think a preliminary final is in their future at the very, very least for the North Queensland Cowboys. I saw enough in their defense. I saw enough in their attack, albeit about 15 minutes there where they could sharpen up with their concentration levels. I think that is the win that could really light the wick for the rest of their season, for their finals campaign. Some other things that I want to mention too. Ruben Cotter in that first half hit the ball up approximately 14 times in that first half. That's an unreal effort in that if for Ruben Cotter to put in. And then Tom Gilbert must have come on in the 20th minute or thereabouts. And by the end of the second half, he was second or third on the Cowboys hit-up list. Like, he came on and absolutely ripped and teared Tom Gilbert, bro. And Griffin Neame, I think he's getting better and better every single game. He came on in the second half, and I think he was not a leader, but gee whiz, he let his actions speak a lot loudly compared to his words, sort of thing, if you guys know what I mean. So I mentioned that Valentine Holmes got a rest. He went off in the 57th minute. Jason Taumalolo, I don't have the exact time, but Jason Taumalolo went off in the first half at approximately the 25th minute and did not play again. Now, that's another positive for the Cowboys, that they can, albeit against the New South Wales Cup Penrith side, they can win like that when Taumalolo is not on the field. And it's not the first time that they've done that before. It's not the first time that they've proven themselves to be a better team than a one-man team this year. Absolutely not. But they did it again. And Taumalolo's had a really easy, good, well-calculated break 1 week before finals. Jason Taumalolo against Cronulla is going to explode. I cannot wait to see how he goes next week. Cannot wait to see what happens between Newcastle and Cronulla tomorrow. So because the Cowboys won, they currently sit on equal second, technically outright second, based on for and against. If Newcastle win tomorrow, the Sharks travel to Townsville. If Sharks win tomorrow, Cowboys are traveling to Sydney. I still am a little unsure on if it is Shark Park or if it's going to be elsewhere. I'm pretty sure it's going to be at Shark Park, but we'll see what happens if Cronulla get the dub tomorrow against Newcastle in the Hunter. So I'm a Newcastle Knights fan tomorrow for a couple of hours, hoping that they get the upset victory against the Cronulla Sutherland Sharks. My best three on ground, I'd say Luciano Leilua. While he did have a missed tackle that led to a try, I think he did play the entire 80 minutes, but I think he's going to be such an X factor for us. And a team that's got plenty of X factor, Luciano Leilua is just going to bring another dimension to us. And I just think he had a really strong performance tonight, man. My silver medalist is Ruben Cotter. He made an error. I think he even gave away a penalty. and he did come off. So he had about 15, maybe even 20 minutes of a rest. But for the work that he did when he was on the field, he was absolutely outstanding. But my man of the match is Reece Robson. He was on the paddock the entire time, scored a try for himself, set up Scott Drinkwater for a cracking try. Defensively, attacking, I think Reece Robson was the key to absolutely everything. And kudos to, and just honorable mentions to Chad Townsend and Tom Dearden to play so soon after suffering his injury only a couple of weeks ago. Boy, howdy, man. I guess, see, I wouldn't have played him. I would have had him on the bench for another week. But in saying that, I understand why he did play. Or whilst it's not confirmed, I imagine Tom Dearden was selected to play because he didn't want to be too concerned or have it too wrapped up in his mind leading into finals. So if he could just get this monkey off of his back in the final game of the regular season, I think it'll do a lot more good for him in the lead up to next week's game. And speaking of next week's game, Cohen Hess is going to be back from suspension. The Cowboys don't have any on report. The Cowboys don't have any injury concerns. This was the performance that every Cowboys fan and every Cowboys player wanted to see. They did it. Everyone asked for them to do it, and they gave it to you on a silver platter. So the Cowboys winning pretty handsomely in the winning handsomely in the end, giving me just a boost in confidence. Not that I was a little bit trepidatious before. I'm always confident in the lads every single week, but I'm just like, oh, okay, they can do it. They did do it against the Penrith Panthers. So I saw enough there that suggests to me that if the Cowboys show up and everything sticks, I think they can do it. I think they can do really good things in the finals. So everybody, thank you very much for tuning in. That's the Cowboys regular season done. Now we move on to the finals. And what happens next week for this channel? The Rugby League Outlaws, Dan and Terry, and Cowboy Kate Cornish is going to be joining me on Tuesday night on this channel. And we're going to be talking about Cowboys versus Sharks or Sharks versus Cowboys from wherever that may be on the map. Thank you all very much for the continuous support. That show on Tuesday night happens at 7 o'clock. Doesn't happen without you. Thank you all very much for the support. Cannot wait to talk Sharks versus Cowboys on Tuesday night with Dan, Terry, and Kate. Adios, everyone.